Why are our young men and women running to go to Europe and America? It is because the Europeans and the Americans have created order. Why are you not running to Nigeria?
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king. I'm a king.
You have talked about Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Kenya's Ngugi wa Thiong'o. One of the great books that Ngugi has written is Decolonizing the Mind. Part of the African problem is low self-esteem. A friend of mine used to tell me that in many African countries, whether wittingly or unwittingly, when they see a white man at the head of an organization or a white woman, say the things are not good. When you see a white pilot entering the Namibian airline, you say things are now good. It is a function of low self-esteem. And I'm submitting to us here that until the day that we of the Negroid race begin to think that we are not children of a lesser God, we are not going to realize our potential. What I'm saying is unpalatable, but it is the truth. In my own country, in Kenya now, my fellow Negroids run down the Kenya Airways. We have not now brought a white man to create order. And somehow, order will come somehow. Our Kenya Airports Authority is now headed by a white man, and somehow order will come. Why are our young men and women running to go to Europe and America? It is because the Europeans and the Americans have created order. Why are you not running to Nigeria? Why are you not running to Congo? That is my answer to that question. Trade. You know, the Chinese are to be admired. In my own lifetime, I've seen China rise from a backward country with no technology to conquer the world. In the area of mobile telephony, in the next few years, each one of you will have Huawei or Techno. China. Most of us who are here, in your houses, there must be an electronic item that is made in China. Why? Because the Chinese leadership are clear about what they want and they are working towards it. What am I saying? That Africans don't realize their potential because Africans in their collectivity have not identified, and if they have identified, they don't work towards what they want as it should be. Look at free movement of goods. Within the SADC and the SADC protocols, there ought to be free movement. And a country such as Namibia, with a population of no more than 3 million, if no more than 3 million at the very best, how can you realize your potential within intra-African trade? It is through SADC. Namibia can identify her niche, and within SADC, immediately you have 60 million South Africans, immediately you have the Angolan population, you have a market of 100 million. And how do you achieve that? To remove tariff and non-tariff barriers. How do you achieve that? To ensure that there is free movement of labor. How do you achieve that? To ensure that we produce items that can be sold here. You are selling beef to Europe, and the Europeans will ensure that before you sell your beef, they want to know when that cow was born. We now have birthdays for cows. They want to know the anniversaries when the cow was inoculated. In other words, from the cradle to the plate, they want to know the history of your cow. That cow could very well be sold to Malawi. I'm not saying you compromise standards, but I'm simply saying that you have a market here which is unexplored. I'm saying that there are many things that can be done. And if we can achieve intra-African trade even up to a level of 40%, then we would begin to have what one would call hard African currencies. Look at a country within your region such as Swaziland. And I said this before. In my own view, those who are in government should ask themselves, when they are negotiating with a country like China with a population of 1.2 billion, do you think that Swaziland can meaningfully enter into a bilateral relationship with China? It's a joke. It's a joke, with due respect. Why do I say it's a joke? Because you have a population of 1 million, the purchasing population is possibly not more than 1/3, you don't mean anything to China. But if you negotiate the bilateral within the context of SADC, then it begins to make sense. If you begin to negotiate the bilateral, if you are Benin in West Africa and you are negotiating with the European Union, negotiate the bilateral within ECOWAS, then you are protected by ECOWAS. But what happens is that the Chinese are very clever people. They'll always have two agreements. One is the Chinese version, which is the authentic version, and which sometimes has details that you don't have in the English version. So that when it comes to interpretation, they go back to the Chinese version. And you lose 10 out of 10 times. I know the Chinese who are building in Kenya one of the roads, and they have this thing. And you know the Chinese are clever. They come with the money, so you can't refuse. They come with the money, they say, they design, they say, oh no, we design as we build. And when you are designing as you build it, you start with 20 billion, by the time you are finished it's 40 billion. In other words, we must recognize that which is in our best interest. Several years ago, in 1998, as a young student of the WTO rules, I was invited to a meeting in Grand Bassam in Cote d'Ivoire by the office of the Prime Minister of Cote d'Ivoire. And what amazed me is that that meeting was a meeting of French-speaking West African countries guided by France on what position the France and the French-speaking countries were going to take at the high-level conference in Seattle in the United States of America. How? It means, therefore, and when you go there, you find the Japanese have a delegation of 200 people, with 10 of them in agricultural subsidy on tomatoes and onions and rice, and Africa has a delegation of 5. 3 of whom have no idea what WTO is.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I think I'm a king,